What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Coast to Coast Fantasy Premier League Managers. We're a little late this week, but that's all right. We're going to hit you with the Game Week 29 review. Quite the game week. A lot of doubles, a lot of points, some movement in the table. So we'll take a look at that, and then we'll also talk about our Game Week 30 squads, see what's going on with that. So
simultaneous to Chelsea kicking off right here, right now.
Yes, we are. Let me try to put that on in the background here. Go to my Peacock or USA app. But
that's the thing.
Here we go. Let's just start by hoping that Haaland starts. Pep said he's ready to go. So
at this point, though, does it even matter? I thought it was going to be a differential Haaland captain. I thought I was a genius, and the entire league, all but two guys, at least from what I saw, that do their team in the mix, Space Jammers and Shoddy. Shoddy's team. Those are the only two non-Haaland captains from widely.
I am sandwiched between Shoddy and Dad and Space Jammers. I want, Rashford got a little assist. That's fine. I think Haaland can beat it. And Shoddy went with Grealish. He's captaining Grealish. You know, that's a man in form. I watched the post-game interview. He seemed in a good mood. And, you know, being sandwiched between those two, I want Haaland to do well. I know that almost everyone that pays attention has him captained. But, you know, I hope that Haaland goes off. He starts. He gets minutes. I would hate to see a 10-minute cameo, but I think they want to get him minutes that prepare him for the big old clash with Bayern Munich coming up.
Speaking of 10-minute cameos, I would love to see a 10-minute Jack Grealish cameo. I think that would be beautiful.
But he started 12 Premier League games in a row.
He's going to start. He's going to start. He's in form. I mean, this performance against Liverpool was outstanding, but he's doing a lot of stuff, you know, off the score sheet as well. So I think Pep's liking him right now. Foden's also hurt, which helps. I'd be shocked if he did not start this game. So I think Johnny did a great move, but we'll see how it pans out. He's definitely trying to differentiate. Let's take it back, though, to last week. Mr. Barksnell, top of the table, highest score of the week yet again. This guy's on fire, 131 points. That is massive. And his one transfer, as we see, was bringing in Shaw, which didn't work out great, didn't matter. This guy is absolutely killing it. Matoma captain, great choice. Myself and Ty also did that. Shout out Ty for that. But Barks is killing the game. Can't be stopped at this point. I mean, he's got goalies getting assists for him. He's got it all going.
Goalie's getting assists for you. Know things are going well when a goalie gets an assist. But I do want to come back to that Grealish point, that sprint he made back to stop that counterattack. It's little things like that I think Pep's loving him. He's got to start. Let's also highlight FPL American here. Richard had another solid week. He has been at the top of the table all year.
Yeah, that's what's most impressive. It's consistency. He's right there. I think this now more than ever, there's so many people in the mix that can jump. I mean, you jumped. That's another call out. You jumped up into fourth at the end of last week. And I think that's your first time in the top four all season. So
I was only in fourth for a little bit. Dad's back in fourth. I'm in fifth. So
life comes at you fast in FPL. But I mean, Richard consistently is up there, which is very impressive. Team did great. Took a little hit. He did Watkins and Pope in. Watkins was huge to bring in there. That got a massive return. So, and now, of course, he's got Haaland in. Captained him as well this week. So, yeah, not much differential there. It'll be very interesting. It takes the fun out of it a little bit when everyone captains Haaland, because I think differential captains are so fun to see. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, Rashford.
I think we also should talk about you. You hung in there. You hung in there with another one. You got triple digits, and you didn't use bench boost, so that was a good week.
100 on the dot.
Yeah,
my bench boost. So I was kicking myself because I bench boosted in a normal single game week earlier in the year, thinking to myself, I never have a good bench anyway. Which was silly to think about because there's so many good players. I think this season especially that our budget buys. A huge part of that is Brighton, right? I mean, you got someone consistently getting returns. I mean, 7, 7, 6, 6, 13, 2, 2, 11, 10, 6, 8. I mean, this Matoma has been on fire. He's only 5.6. And you throw in March, you throw in McAllister, you throw in Arsenal midfielders. They're producing so regularly, and they're only 6, 5, 7 price range. That changes things. So I think you can have a deeper bench boost, and double game week's massive. Luckily, it didn't hurt me too bad. I hung in there a little bit. And yeah, if I would have bench boosted, clearly it wouldn't have been great. I probably would have approached a little differently. in terms of who I had on my team, but it's nice to see my bench didn't go crazy on this game week. Raya, though, Raya owners who started him or bench boosted got him in. Incredible game, that one, the 3-3 Brighton and Brentford, 11 saves. That was something. So that was something to see there. But yeah, Matoma captain helped me a lot too. I was rooting against Rashford last week, I'll tell you what, but he got that kind of a Johnny on the spot goal. But he's a finisher, he's a poacher, so he got his points. And yeah, it was a fun week, and it is a fun week right now too. But yeah, you want to pull up the Dow team, and they had a massive week as well. 130, what did they get? 134 or something like that?
Yeah, I'll pull it up.
And they beat almost everyone in the league by a considerable margin. So the Dow team only has a few people beating them right now for scores since they entered the league.
All right, before we go to Dow team, I know you got the monkey off your back and talked about your team, but let's take a look at my team. 122 points. I was pretty happy with it. I mean, the thing that really hurt was captaining Madison. I tried to be cute. I got too cute. Wasn't exactly what I wanted. Should have went with Matoma. Even Rashford would have been fine. I think if I would have done that, I would have had the best week in the league. So
yeah,
my team's playing good. I like what I got. Coming into home stretch here, I'm going to try to at least get into the championship places, but it is tight at the top.
And go to your bench too. I mean, your bench boost worked really well. And yeah, I mean, that captain, I think it's incredible that you got 122 with a 4-point captain.
Yeah.
Week.
Yeah, double game week, 4-point captain. I mean, that's so unfortunate. I did like him a lot because he plays Bournemouth at home this week. So before we get into this week, though, let's take a look at the Dow team, see if there's any other stuff to look at in the table. So the Dow team here was 130 points. Bringing in Watkins was a masterclass. Captaining Rashford was decent. Captaining Watkins would have been the best. I don't think anyone did that in our league.
No one expected Chelsea to lose to Villa like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at this point, shoot, what's going on now? Still 0. All right, they're not losing to Wolves yet. But Frankie Lampard back at the home. I mean, who knows? Chilwell, decent returns. Havertz, that was tough to watch. I think Richard said it best. He could be more wasteful than Nunez at this point.
That's why he's still in my squad.
Yeah.
Love that.
You held Nunez for a little too, right? I know I did. Ty as well had Nunez. I think he still had him in his team last week. But yeah, Nunez, Havertz, not quite firing. But the amount of chances they get, it's just so hard to drop them if you don't want to take a hit.
Havertz has done okay for me. He's returned twice.
He did return when you first picked him up. PKs. I mean, it's tough to get rid of him if it's not an easy move.
Yeah,
you're not going to get him out when he could very well return.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens this week. I think this might be one of the last weeks that Havertz is in my team. But let's look at this because this is super interesting. The Dow team with the 130, they beat all but one team this week. But one, and that was Barcelona, who is still all green. In the last, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks that the Dow team has been in, he's beat the Dow team every time. 575 points. He's on a tear, and he's at the top of the table because of this tear. That's one to highlight. Pongdom and Payne and Diaz are actually both tied with the Dow, so they're out of the money. You got to beat the Dow to get the payout. FPL American ahead of the Dow, and the Dow passed up you this week, so it's 9 points ahead of you now, and Space Jammers. So you guys are falling off the pace, the tearing pace that the Dow is setting here in these weeks. But yeah, I mean, it's very interesting how there's 1, 2, 3, 4, only 5 teams ahead of the Dow now since it's been in the league.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of movement on that front. But yeah, it's very interesting to see this. Still a long way to go. So a lot of people could pass that Dow again, or vice versa. Dow could keep going well. All depends on what happens in the voting and proposals.
Yeah. Speaking of that, there was no changes this week because I dropped the ball and just didn't put the proposals up in time. I was just busy with other stuff, so sorry about that. But the team's still looking good this week. Rashford was captain, so he got a return. We'll see what happens with that. But I also want to shout out Cancelo Culture because he is the second highest in the league. He's mid-table, barking up to the Champions League positions, but he's at 560 points, and that's pretty solid. The league leaders at 575. He's way down the table, but 560 in the last few weeks. So he's putting in a solid run of form here. So wanted to shout out Andrew Apps. His fantasy team is killing it. But I think let's look at our teams for this week, and then we'll wrap this up.
Yeah, this week was the Holland captain theme. Not too much. I mean, I think Brentford boys are going to be very interesting to see if they can pull off a clean sheet. There's a lot of guys. I mean, Barks has 2 Brentford defenders in. That'll be a matchup. The Spurs and Brighton matchup will be very interesting. I think a lot of people feel confident that Matoma can do something. They started him. I started him myself.
I did too. So my team's up on the screen. So let's chat about that so it doesn't get too confusing here. Holland captain, like we've been talking about. Chilwell didn't get the start. Hopefully he doesn't come on for a cameo. Gabriel will come in for me. So the bench is fine. That's a weird one, though, from Frankie Lampard. Head scratcher for me, but maybe there's more to the story there. But, yeah, all these games are kicking off, and I like my team for this week. Holland captain. We'll see if I can keep the momentum going and try to get another green arrow. But I suppose I'll click into your team now, and you can talk about the changes you made. Oh, the change I made. What did I do? I went Tony to Holland.
Yeah, I'll get that man back in. I've kept Holland this whole time. I think I liked my team, how it looked when he was on the bench. I had no problems holding him. And I just brought in the one and only Timmy Ream into my squad. Luke Shaw got him out. I just don't think he's going to be healthy for a bit of time. He's a lot of funds to have sitting on your back line at least. And, yeah, I think he needed to go. They're going to blank too. So a lot of different reasons for that. I think Timmy Ream, though, he plays every minute. He's going to get some bonus points if they get a clean sheet and he plays well. We'll see how it goes, but I'm excited for that. We're really hoping for a clean sheet there. Tottenham has scored as well against Brighton. Speaking of that game, a lot of people, I think Richard had 3 Brighton boys in his team too. I noticed that. I kept Matoma, of course. I benched Dunk, though. I didn't think they were going to get a clean sheet. So we shall see how the games unfold.
Let's see how it goes. Good luck in game week 30. The 12:30 Eastern time kickoff with Man City will be interesting. What might be more interesting is at 11:30 when the lineups come out. We'll see if Haaland is in. We'll see if Grealish is in. And we'll be hitting you up in the chat. But good luck to everybody. I'll make sure to get up the proposals and let you guys know earlier this week. But the level in the league is high, and let's keep getting all these points. I mean, there was a lot of 3-digit hauls last week. That's super cool to see, and the standards is just rising. So
keep up the good work, and enjoy the Fantasy Premier League and Premier League morning.